We're going to have a conversation. All right, so today's topic, guys, how to uncover upsells in 5 steps. That's essentially going to be our topic. This was a question that was submitted by Dan Perrin. It's a very common question that we all have. It's one that we could all benefit from. And I'm going to jump into it with 5 major points. All right, I'm going to give you the highlight of those 5 major points right now. Number 1 is like. Number 2 is trust. Number 3 is inspection. Number 4 is education. And then number 5 is asking for permission to present. So let me highlight these points for you and go into a little bit of subtext on each one, all right? So the very first step, in my opinion, in being able to produce add-ons or being able to produce upsells, if you will, is that the client's got to have a first step of liking you. And to me, if we're going to talk about what does it mean to be liked by somebody, it means that you've got some sort of commonality. You've got some sort of emotional connection with them. So one of the easiest ways to make sure that like is being built is that you are just personally friendly and you're warm. And I think it's important when you're talking about being friendly and being warm is that it's got to come from a very sincere place. Because if you've ever met someone that was too friendly or met someone that was too warm and it didn't feel sincere, then it can also feel a little creepy. And the moment that it's not being sincere and it's not being genuine is the moment when people start wondering what you're up to. Which leads us to point number 2, right? We gotta be likable, but it's got to be from a very sincere place. So being likable is number 1. Number 2 is that the client's got to trust you. The client has called you out there for a reason, right? They've called you out there because they have an immediate service item they want you to look at. As a plumber, as an electrician, as a roofing person, a roofing contractor, as an HVAC technician, the client has an immediate thing that they need you to take care of. And if you start jumping into items in your questionnaire too early and too fast and inappropriately, they're going to wonder, why aren't you talking about the faucet that's dripping? Why aren't you talking about the air conditioning system that's not working, as opposed to talking about your add-on item that you have? So that can ruin trust. And if you ruin trust, you're probably not going to even get what you're there for, much less an add-on. By the way, Jason, it is live. I do see you. Howdy. Good to see you, brother. By the way, guys, as I'm saying things here that are hitting home, hit that like button. I like to see the feedback, all right? And that's the way that you can do that. So here are a couple things that you can do to boost your trust. John, good morning to you, sir. Thank you for being here. Here's a couple things that you guys can boost your trust, guys. Number 1 is really simple. Be on time. Look, I understand that you can't always control the timing scenario. It may be that traffic has caused some challenges. Be on your time to the best of your ability. And if you're going to be late, for goodness sake, make sure that the office is alerting the client. So control your time and respect your client's time to the best of your ability. That's going to be one of the ways that the client's going to be trusting are going to be checking your trust factor right at the gate. Number 2, have a purpose and have a plan. Have a purpose and have a plan. That is professionalism. We call our purpose and our plan press play. And if you've been to our program, you know that stands for be prepared, establish a relationship, evaluate the client's initial concerns, find out the initial needs, evaluate through questions, settle that client's fear, go into a great system diagnostic. That's the press part, right? For the sake of example, I've got 5 things written down here that I'm going to visit with you this morning on. And even though this is impromptu and even though this is a free conversation, you want to know that there's a plan that we're going towards. So establishing trust is about being on time, have a purpose, have a plan. Your client's going to be able to see that, even if you don't tell them every step of your plan, although there are parts that you certainly should, and that's what we refer to as settling fears. The client can tell when you meet them at the front door, right? The front door over there. The client can tell when you're putting out your home protection devices, whether it's your carpet, also, maybe I shouldn't have touched that, whether it's your carpet, and also your floor protection devices over your shoes, your floor savers, whatever you call them. The client can tell that, hey, you're a professional, you've got a plan, you're doing the things that maybe the office said that they're going to do. They're going to trust you, all right? So do the things that establish trust. And then you're going to move into number 3, which is an inspection. And there is absolutely no substitute ever for an inspection. Never. Sometimes we're like, hey, how do I get upsells? Well, you get upsells as a byproduct of an amazing inspection. And inspections are those things where you just can't skip that step. If you skip that step, you're not going to have success in the current thing, much less more things. So when it comes to an amazing inspection, it should be beyond the obvious. It should be beyond the obvious. And in all the trades, there's not one reason why a full investigative inspection isn't A, valuable, and in my opinion, B, necessary. If something is broken down on any of the plumbing side of the home, chances are real good, based off age and wear and tear, that while you're there, it warrants an inspection on the other items. So we've got to go in full inspection. And I've got a couple bullet points when it comes to full inspection. Number 1, tie in your inspection to full service. Let me say that again. Tie in your inspection to full service. Now, we got to do this because if we don't, we're going to damage trust. So you got to have a very good reason why the full inspection ties into the purpose that you're there today and why it's part of full service, which is I mean, to me, it's just a basic, right? If I've got a leak on my roof and a person is saying, let's do a full inspection of the entire underneath of your attic system, as a homeowner, I'm going to go, okay, great, that makes sense to me. Please do. And if the ventilation is part of the roofing system, then yes, please do. If I have a plumber to my home and I've got a leaking faucet and I say to you, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, part of what I want to check is I like to investigate the incoming pressures into your home. This leak could be caused by age, it could be caused by general wear and tear, but it also could be caused by a pressure situation in your home. So I'd like to check the pressure in your home at every tap because that's going to let me know what I'm dealing with. As a homeowner, I'm going to be thankful and say thank you. Hear the yard service over there? Maybe not too much. So you got to gain permission as well. You tie it into full service and then you gain permission, and a client's going to want that if they understand that it's a benefit to them. All right, so now you do that inspection. Now you got to educate them. And while I'm not going to dive super deep into this because there's 4 different points of education that we could be talking about, or 4 major points depending upon your trade, and then you could dive in deeper there. I think I see David on here, who, if my memory is correct, and I think it is, great water quality guy there, right? He could go a deep dive there when it comes to how do you handle that. And maybe if my memory is wrong, I apologize, but I'm sure you're an expert in whatever that field is. But the point that I'm trying to make here, guys, is number 4, you got to educate your findings. And I'm going to give you essentially 2 major points when it comes to educating your findings. You got to show them what you found, and you've got to prove to them that what you found is something they should be concerned about. Now, if you're asking, well, how do I prove it to them? That's actually not very difficult. You prove it to them by using your professional diagnostic skills and understandings, revealing that to them, and then simply gaining commitment that they also agree that this is something that should be of concern and that they understand why it should be of concern. You always want to make sure that you check in by asking questions. You always want to make sure that you check in by asking questions back to the client so that you can get the feedback in the moment. Number 5. Once you've got commitment and once you've got buy-in from the client that yes, these are items that should be taken care of, whether it's, removing dirt from dirty ducts, whether it's adding a water filtration system to the home that's going to remove these harsh chemicals that's causing, a negative health impact, or it's just coating the pipes inside of your home and reducing your pressure. Whether you're going to be upgrading the ventilation in the attic, removing the whirly birds and going with whole ridge vent, maybe that's your upgrade. Or maybe what you found on the electrical side is that there's no electrical protection, so you're going to be offering home electrical protection devices there. Whatever it may be, you have to seek permission to review those items, and again, go back and tie it in to part of the original reason why they called you here. And when you do that, what you have is you have five simple steps, easy steps that are going to help you boost your add-ons on every call because it's part of the call. Not because you switched and did the switch bait technique, but because you did what was right. So a quick review again. Like, trust, inspection, education, permission. And in 5 steps, I guarantee you can boost your value-added items. Oh, that's right, family heating and air. I apologize, David. I was thinking of David Johnson in the moment. Thank you, David Fowler. I appreciate that. All right, let's see. We got another comment here from John. Now that you've got the customer's attention, they know you're focused on them. It's time to get down to, I don't ever know why I can't hit the more. John, for whatever reason on the phone, I can't seem to make it expand the comments. I'll read your comment when I'm done with this, and I'll comment back. All right, so with that being said, hey, we got a few minutes left here. I did pretty good. I did that in about 10 minutes. Going to reserve your time, give you something fast, something useful that you personally can use. Hey, if you're running a company, pop this up on the screen. Take these free 10 minutes of training and show it to your team. But in the meantime, while I've got a few of you still on here, do you have any comments or any questions for me? And if you can, try to keep the question abbreviated. Not because I don't like seeing your questions. I love seeing your questions. But for whatever reason, I can't seem to make them feed through here, except for like the little first portion. So, hey, guys, if you got a question for me, ask it. I'll answer it. If you don't, that's okay. If you liked what we talked about this morning, well, then show me that love. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Give me some love. We are able to do these things, and we will keep doing these things as long as you guys keep saying they're valuable. And if you don't want to do it, I won't do it. It's pretty simple to me, right? I do the things that I think will help you guys. So there were some other questions that were submitted. Hey, there they are. That's really cool. I like seeing that. Thanks, guys. There were some other questions that were submitted, and I think there were some fine ones, and I'll get to them next Saturday. Good morning, David, to you too, brother. If you guys want to see something in particular next Saturday from the porch, I'd love to do that. You can shoot me a DM. You can paste it in the comments. I look at those things all the time. Super happy to talk about them. Hey, I'll share with you one of the topics that I'm interested in. It would be a little bit more geared towards owners, but I'm interested in talking to you guys about how to value your business. And not in a super complicated way. Sometimes when people talk about, company evaluations, it can be way too complicated. I'm interested in having a conversation with you about how do you value your business from an easy place, from an easy evaluation, and kind of coming up with what it's worth, and then you can begin to think about what that means for your future. Jason, good morning. Awesome, man. Green Bay? Yeah, I bet you guys are rocking some heat right now. Cold. Mark Brimley, top add-ons for AC. Obviously have my own answer, waiting to hear yours. All right, man. Top add-ons for AC. I'm going to say, I'm going to give you a couple answers. And I'm going to base it off of, first of all, the market here in Austin, Texas. Having ran an air conditioning company here in Austin, Texas, and having an opportunity to look around in our market, here were the things that we found after being in this market for an extremely short period of time. What we found was there was a very large lack of attention in this market when it came to very basic airflow and safety. So what we found is in this market, a lot of people were running single wall flex lines through to furnaces. And this was our first year in business. So we were doing a lot of maintenance calls, and we would go out to systems that would be 2 or 3 years of age, and they just were not properly installed from a safety side. So for us, we found ourselves adding a lot of sediment traps and hard piping through the furnace. That was an easy add-on that was necessary. It was beneficial. we also found that going into this same bad installation techniques, there were a lot of people that didn't properly put in things like float safety devices or put them in at all. So we were doing a lot of that to make sure that ceilings weren't getting flooded. And then on some real basic approaches, we were doing a lot of sealing of ducts. Sometimes the ducts were properly sized. They might not have been dampered, so we would put in dampers, we would seal, and those were hugely valuable to homeowners. Now those don't even extend into the conversations of air purification yet, right? And yes, those were great add-ons too. But if you're asking me, like, what were some of the most valuable, most specific things that we found, it was those things: sediment traps, hard piping through places where they had single wall gas where they shouldn't have. In essence, what I'm saying, it was resolving a lot of the bad installs on younger systems. A lot of times it was duct upgrading, making sure the airflow was properly. Now, in order to do that, you really got to make sure that your technicians were educated, but we did do that. And then, of course, indoor air quality. Indoor air quality is a huge one, but I'm just speaking to you from my standpoint, and that goes back to point number 3 that I made, which was inspections. Because a lot of times we get into the habit of finding the first obvious thing and then we move on. When it came to our plumbing side, it was very similar. It was oftentimes the simplest things that you would just take for granted. Like, of course, they're going to have a pressure regulating valve in a high pressure environment, and oftentimes they flat out didn't. So there were some more comments coming in. Hang on a second, guys. Let me see if I can scroll down. So Mark Brimley, there were some of my answers. Also things like easy start, compressors, and you might have been expecting me to get more into the bigger items like IAQ, and I love IAQ. I've got IAQ in my home here. I personally have the dynamic system. So shout out to Steve Moores and those guys. I love my system. It works great. So there you go. Hard Start and IntelliFan. Hey, Jason. Boom, boom. There you go. IntelliFan, a dynamic product. John, all my upgrades and add-ons that I've ever put on air conditioning systems, I'm going to read your comments, man. I really want to see them. Maybe I should have brought my computer out. I didn't. Hey, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Monty, thanks for the invite. I appreciate you being here, Monty. My pleasure. Mark, I agree. Good call on the gas whips into cabinets. Thanks, brother. Oh, you know what I also forgot to say? I also forgot to say disconnects. We would often find that just, what would happen is people would have their systems replaced. And again, you got to keep in mind, we were new in here. So we were doing a lot of work on stuff that other people had jacked up. But people would put in system place, wouldn't put in new disconnects. And the old disconnects were hot and worn out. So disconnects became a big one for us. Good answers. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. All righty. So air quality, I agree. All right, fantastic. That's that for today, guys. Again, super appreciate your comments. We'll put this up on the website. If you're looking for it, you can find it there. You'll obviously also find it here on Facebook. If you find value in this, hit the like button, share, do all those things. And if you want to know more about what we do, just spend some time on our website. Tons of free stuff there. We try to do our best in serving you guys in all ways possible. If you ever want to come check out a class, come see us in Texas. We'd love to help you out. And if you need more intense help in your business, then just drop me a message. We've got some amazing clients that do monthly, ongoing, weekly training with us. A lot of options here for you to turn learning into earning over at Service Excellence Training. That's it for this Saturday. Have a great day and get ready for some amazing football if you're into that sort of thing. Geez Louise, I know I am. All right. If you want to see some other future topics, drop them in the comments. That's it. Go turn learning into earning.